Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So
Welcome.
what was happening today?
What's happening today? Just put some water.
We've been talking, and yeah,
So today, yeah, we have been.
I don't know if there's anything that you want to.
I want to go like a bit of the. So maybe some of the comments that you have. Where does the Hydra editor come from? Who is the friend or relative? No.
Yeah. So that was like I gave a presentation in one of the seminars. That's what I've been doing these days, and so basically what I did is I showed the show reel, the 4-minute video, which I found it's actually really good that we made it. Well, I made it because
where is it? Where is that show reel?
The one that I submitted for one of the applications.
Can you put that link also? Is that link in the links?
Yeah. Should we actually watch it now? Because it might be interesting.
But yeah, just maybe
Watch
put it and we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
can share the screen.
Yeah. So how does it work? The other mode, and then turn on the sound. Share screen with sound and optimize for video. So I hit start. Should we talk while we watch, or we?
If it's necessary, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because there is no sound in that, no?
Some of them, yeah. And this is like you hear the.
This is this year. This is this year, yeah.
You hear it, right?
No, really.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah. Can you maybe just put up your like down the sound of your, yeah, you know what I mean. High pitch.
This is your screen, right?
Hmm?
It's your view.
That's my screen, yeah. This is one of the first ones.
Yeah.
This is back in July 2020. This is in PAF, yeah. The background is the Church of the Papa.
Right. That was my birthday stream.
This is when you were using tidal cycles.
Yeah.
The problem was understand time.
No, sorry.
Concerns start attributed to the present. The past is not, since it is not longer present. The future is not, since it is not yet present. And
Dude, go for it. I'm working, so it's VDMX.
Oh yeah, the famous one.
The painting. This is kind of the thing sometimes, like, so the Naoto goes crazy. I was expecting that, and he just started painting.
And this is
in the church.
Yeah, and that was on the Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah, that was we didn't have internet, so yes.
Yeah, this video I added because it's like the first part of it, and then this is like towards the end, I think.
What I think is very cool in the practices, like like at some point we were very into like that was work. This is in the node.
Yeah, the
This is
famous
the
one.
stage design.
This one, like, I don't remember, but I liked it when I was editing the video because, like,
I don't
it looks
remember
like
even this one.
no, but my hands are like, you know, going over you, and it's really cool.
I'm the cream of the crop. I rise to the top. I never eat a pig because a pig is a cop. Or better yet, a term.
Okay.
And that was 4 minutes. It's I think it's very nice. It's that it's 4 minutes, so it's certainly not. I mean, a short reel is maximum, I don't know, 2 minutes is like standards is 1 minute, right?
True.
But it feels cool that this is 4 minutes, and still I think I could just keep on going, you know, keep on watching.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
So,
Can you share, do you have this somewhere? Like, is hosted somewhere? Do you have this? Did you upload it? This?
I posted the link in the doc right now.
Where? In the links? Yeah.
No, at the comments of the seminar, where your cursor is now. And
Yeah.
I didn't post it like public because I thought it's only for the application, but maybe it's good.
Yeah, I think is I will just put it in the links to be. I will put it just under here.
Sure.
And then I will say here, this is. Oh.
So basically, this is the one that I've shown in the seminar, and then I thought about Q&O. So instead of me answering the questions, we watched this together, and then I asked for questions, but I didn't answer immediately. I collected some questions, and then I went through, try to answer or try to tell a story based on those questions.
So this is part of them when Naoto get as comments. Where does the hydro editor come from? Who is the friend or relative?
Yeah,
I don't understand what it means. Like, who is the friend or relative?
that's funny because I think
grandma.
well,
this is an inside joke
that
it's part of the last 3 hours we have been speaking about my grandma for some reason, together with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, sorry.
Exactly. Because I liked it, but well, the guy asked the question was, well, first like curious about what this Hydra thing is. I think he just saw it on the URL of one of the windows I use, and then also like asked like, you know, who this guy is. Is it like your friend or your relative? I don't know if that he meant relative, but I think you know, because of English, he's not so fluent, so he somehow said that word. But I thought it's so funny that, you know, yeah, I mean, why not? Maybe you're my relative, you know.
Yeah. Or I'm relative. I'm relative. I will subscribe to the idea to be relative. I'm relative. Okay, the second comment, it says like best practices show real creation. How is created? What best practices means to me? The best practices give to you. Give the video gives impression of a room where you enter physically there to look around as a visitor.
Yeah, so this is like one more like comment. Like, first of all, like I didn't really explain what the best practices means, and I think the title of the video is called Best Practices Show Reel. So like, I think she was wondering like, what does it mean by best practices, and how the videos are, you know, curated.
Okay, but what I found is very interesting is that, I mean, to is that the best practice as a title is something that is a potential things by itself. And at the beginning, even at the beginning, when we thought it was kind of a sarcastic thing, as we mentioned in previous episodes, is that is something that actually is so it potential things, right? Best practices. Yeah, the long name is the best practices in contemporary dance, and I think it fits in our context because it refers to the post dance. So I think it is concrete in the sense like we propose in best practices in contemporary dance or in post dance in that sense. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think that.
Well, we propose. I mean, you don't propose. We just search for that. I think that's my standpoint. But anyways.
Okay, so next one. How long are the
But I
practices?
think it's good that she also like just from the video she thought like it's like a room, like a space rather than like watching video, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And we talked about it before in some of the chats, I think, about this kind of space rather than yeah. I forgot what the context is, but at one point I was trying to construct like with Hydra, like make kind of the room, and also like that connects to the stage design.
Yeah. How long are the practices? Feel like going back and forth.
Yeah, because of how the video is edited, I think he was thinking that it looks like, you know, like you move from like different time stamp to another one, which is how the video is edited. And yeah, he was wondering like how long this one session is, which is a good question, I think.
I like it because it's like non-linear time. Yeah, and that's one of the things that going back into like concept, what we talk about in a way, like I think something is more valid now as art when when the time frame is not defined. I mean, when you can get lost in the time. So in that sense, like I think is achieved somehow, like the linearity is not. Say what I'm trying to say is like, yes, what I'm trying to say is like in the process, although you can like in the practice in the archive as a practice, then actually it doesn't really matter that much if you start watching from the last ones or the first ones. Although you can actually, if you really want to do the exercise to follow one by one since July 2020 until now, you might find things that you think it progressed somehow, or they go advanced somehow. They are not necessary. It doesn't matter. You can start watching different order and it will be still, you will get a real sense of what is the practice. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is the code and output, like how we performatively interact with the code while we dance. And normally like people see the end result of what code does, but we do it on the fly.
So that in a way that was kind of like a positive comment about like like the you guys perform within the code embodiment, code embodied embodiment. How do you call that at some point? Embodiment, code embodied?
I forgot. Embodiment of
code embodiment. Code embodiment. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like this, like to embody it, the code, it means that then in taking the words of what the person says before is that how performatively we interact with the code. That's kind of the code embodiment, like embodied the code.
Actually, I wrote embodied code.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, embodied code. Yeah. Different rounds, working space come together.
I don't understand. um, I don't remember what it was.
It seems to me like a loops, you know, it seems to me like different rounds, like loops, working space come together.
Maybe it's a separate spaces, but it kind of looks like we're working together.
But this is the kind of things that this is the kind of like Q and O. This is an example of Q and O for me, because it says different rounds working space come together. So the proposition in itself is an option actually. So it let me think, for instance, that I will think the different rounds as loops, and only through loops and during an extended period of time is that other things start appearing. And going back to this idea of like active audience, you know, like only when a performance extends itself during certain amount of time where you don't demand the attention of the public during the whole time, is when things start appearing slowly as a mantric calling, basically the exercise of the mantra. You will just repeat om om om, and then just during the repetition of the mantra is that things start to form. That's the way how I interpret this, and so that's what I'm saying, that this, I see this as a good example of the Q and O. There's an O, there's a really an option, because it gives me agency to, hey, you know what, actually this, I see it like in this way.
And the next
Moving
one?
through,
Yep.
yeah, moving through spaces, not screens, fluid states of work in between work and performing, or is even in between. This is just, what do you think about this?
What was it? So it's like like work means like, I think it's coding, and then we kind of also move. And the question first was, is it like what, like how to be like the fluid state between coding and then moving, but is it like is it actually even in between? Is it the right word?
Yeah. But I think this is very, very interesting, because I see these, when he referred work as labor, basically, that could be code, but could be any other working aspect, you know, like just labor. And then, yeah, in a way, it seems that the person kind of catch what in a way, what we said we do, that is like, in terms of not privileging things, that it's not privileging elements, but just like being in the space in between, you know, not privileging or the code or the dancing or the sound, like not privileging, but just being always in the space in between grouping and ungrouping.
Yeah.
The construction and composition, freeing the way of work. This is kind of similar in a way to me.
Yeah.
How
But
you
also,
see?
like, I think it was interesting that there was this question. I mean, there was this keyword deconstruction, and that's something. I mean, maybe we talked. I don't know. I don't think we specifically used that word before, but it was, it was a thing in art some time ago, I think.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah, I
are
mean,
we deconstructing?
no, but I think that's the interesting part, because like we talk of one of the other chats we mentioned, we were talking about this idea of the deconstruction enter like linguistics through Derrida in philosophy, who is the first one who start proposing basically this idea that only when you are really mature, only a mature person will start actually not knowing, based on the idea that the world is so complex that it's just a massive object, a massive group of objects. They are at the same time subdivided or deconstructed in small pieces, and you can go on and on. So this idea of the construction is super, super. I mean, this is a word that you will hear very often in art, like with, I mean, like, for instance, Annalena, she likes to use that word very often when I talk to her. And I guess I use it also in my language. I guess we don't use it that often because in a way we refer this, we refer to grouping and ungrouping things. Because the idea of deconstructing is I think it goes straight on the dimension of like object and sublayers, so it goes in a way, it has a hierarchical, and not only, no, it's not hierarchical, but it has a directional proposition when I say deconstructing, because it means that I need to start from body, from Jorge, extremities, arm, arm, fingers, nail, and so on. It has a directional proposition in the word itself. It subdivides in more folders and folders and folders.
Yeah, that's why, like, at first I said, what are we deconstructing? Like, is it even like constructed? And I think that's also like in the other application we wrote. I don't know if I can find it right now, but yeah, like we are like, reclaiming the body, was it? But
Yeah.
is it even something that we already had before?
Yeah. I think that was interesting, like that because this is so I said, like, when we were writing, I said basically that we are reclaiming the body through that process, and then you add to that sentence, like, did we have that body even before? Did we have that? Yeah.
There's a question. I'm not negating.
Yeah.
And it's not a dialectic process, so we can just end with the question.
No, I was right. I was right when I said, like, we make free the body through renouncing to functions and value. But yeah, I think that's why somehow it works, and that's what it makes it more complicated, or more, it demands more responsibility, what we do right now, because we are trying to, in a way, then articulate the language to transmit the idea of what we do. What I'm saying is, in our practice is granted, and in our language, I mean, that's why maybe we don't have to speak about deconstruction, because it's granted from long time ago that we don't know if we are even composing. So it's just something that in a way it seems that is not interested. It's not really interesting, I guess, for us to talk. Maybe that's why we don't bring it, because we give that for granted in the way that it's just something that is blob, that is just blobbing, and is just grouping and ungrouping and talking about the elements and all these things. That the idea of deconstruction, because it's directional, is just not fitting in that spectrum, because it's just compromising the the practice to say that we deconstruct something. It just frame it. It just frames so much the blob into a box to deconstruct that not formed thing.
Yeah. So I think it's good that we find connection to different ideas, but we know that we're different. Oh, we're different. I'm not that I wanted to say that, but it's not like a classical idea of deconstruction.
No, but
even
then
if it's
one,
similar.
maybe something that I want to add in that is that, yeah, in regards to responsibility, like in order to make visible and give this more as an option, like a real option for other people to, we put it in the last application, and that we said this is a valid option that can work as a toolbox for other people to just see what is already there for 1 year, insisting in the idea. So going back to the responsibility is because personally, I don't want to lose the fun, because this is just fun. We have been talking since 11 today. Now it's 5. So we have been just talking with Naoto, and although just this is what it comes online, it's just still so fun. So it just, now that we start trying to write more and be more concrete in order to share a more specific framework or an idea through semantics and words, it becomes a responsibility in one hand that in order to try to make it more accessible for others, which means that Naoto and me, we have to articulate better our language and to talk about this that is granted within the construction of the practice during the more than 1 year of practicing. But that I don't want to lose the fun. Yeah, that's that will be, that's the delicate part, how to keep on building something that is more concrete in order to be shared without losing the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I added fun with Comic Sans.
With comics. Okay, next one. How I present with videos. How you present with videos.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I think there was someone who said, it becomes like another performance. And I think that's like also the thing that we wanted to think about, how we interact with the past videos, past practices, and that becomes another practice. So that's one thing. I think, yeah, we can maybe think about like not just like a chat, but think about how we present it to other people.
That would be nice. That would be so nice, because I need to do as well my presentation for the school, and I have 12 minutes. And this is my master thesis, it's not that, so it's something that it has to perform within the framework of the Jorge school, which is a technical school. So that will be interesting. I think this video that you make, it works so much. And then just I start thinking, because I need to start thinking on my presentation, what is actually, and just listening to what was the feedback of the promoter, the guy who followed from the school. He was saying you need to really give time for the people to just be there, say nothing, because there's so much material that is nice visually, but also just nice, that maybe you don't want to add anything else, because it's just by itself is good, because there is no purpose in a way. Yes, because there is not really purpose in trying to say like, what, understand me, that my idea is this, and force that like in 20 seconds to make convey this message. So perhaps I'm just thinking out loud, perhaps, although for instance thinking in a reel will be something that should be more like, I don't know, 1 minute, maybe it will be completely out of this out of the guidelines that I will use, let's say, the reel that you propose. Say, like, I'm just saying, like, if I will be using the reel as the first thing that I will do in my presentation, which is 4 minutes, that's completely against what they teach me for 4 years. But that's interesting. Because, and what I think is interesting is because I'm not studying in an art school, meaning that that space where I'm proposing my final work is not a space to conceptualize something. So I'm not, yeah, that's not the space. Nevertheless, I think because the format and because what we have achieved so far, from my point of view, it speaks for itself, it might be necessary to then show the show reel for 4 minutes. And that's kind of a question, a valid question that I start having, like, to present this in that context and to see what will be the reaction actually. Because normally what I think they will receive is like, Jorge, well, you should know this, be like, short reel is 20 seconds. Why you put 4 minutes? You know, these kind of things.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, yeah, it's up to you, I guess. It's really, also, it's not something that, we're doing certain type of thing that people can immediately get.
Deconstruction was a thing. Sorry, did you
Yeah,
write it or somebody wrote that?
I think someone commented, so I just took a note. So that's the thing, we talk about deconstruction, but actually that's like a thing 30 years ago, and it's around the time when I was born.
And the last thing, and Derrida, yeah, I think it should be from 30 years ago. That's Derrida, the one who started speaking about it. And the last thing, there is net art versus net-based art, and this is something very interesting. And I'm writing. I mean, I put one of the subjects to write in my paper about some context, basically, of from where it comes that we end up doing this. And so, what can you say something about net art versus net-based art?
I have to say, I kind of misunderstood the question, and I forgot what was the original intention of the question, but she said something about like there's net art and net-based art, and I thought that's kind of interesting term. So I noted, but I forgot her point. But for me, how I interpreted was like, after the pandemic, I think that was Odia Diadina. She's like a famous net artist, works with like archive of GeoCities. It's really fun. She said she tweeted on Twitter. She said something about like the categories of the motivation why people start doing net art, and the new category is that they don't have choice, so they have to do net art because of the pandemic, and they cannot show anything on the physical space. So artists have to start doing net art, even though they don't like it. That was kind of the context. And I think that's really interesting because for us, it's a bit like that. It was definitely like the reason why we started, but also like we're not like trying to fit into a certain format. We're not like trying to make a documentary film or 360 video of dancing or whatever, or VR piece, but we just do whatever that works for us. And I think that's really interesting. And also like we talked about in accessibility, or like the other application, that this is like an option that we want to show to other people who thinks that there is no other option.
Yeah, I mean, but this is completely valid, because if, as I mentioned before, what I'm trying to say in my paper is that I'm proposing basically a new medium, an art form. So because there is no other option. And I think this is very in line to that. This is very much in line to, it's just must happen basically. So I put it from the context of dance, like dance was not ready to do these things. It was forced, but it's just not good. So then we have to do something about it. And so is this what it is, the proposal? But it's from not having an other option, there is no other option, we should do it. I think that's very interesting. Yeah. But wait, because maybe I would like to spend a little bit more of time this, and if you have more information about this than me, then to share with me. So this, like the internet art, it starts like from the cyberpunks in the 80s, or from where it comes from this?
I don't know. I mean, we should go to
Because I mean,
rhizome.org.
because I know, I mean, from the way who I was following up this is from actually, like Fluxus and Nanjupeg and more electricity based and signal based, which at the end becomes what is known now as video art, but that's the way how I trace it, until video art.
I see. I just posted a link to Rhizome Artbase. They collect digital artworks. They say it's from 1999 and 99, but it seems it's the first one is 1995 that they show.
Cool. What this is not risk for our base. Welcome to Reason. But what is the catalog? What is they're saying? This is called what kind of art? What? Like digital art or what?
I think they're focused on net art.
Rhizome. Yeah.
But if you go to the menu, there's like a browse, and then they have this like sorting in years.
Where?
At the
Browse.
top.
At the top, and where in the top?
Like they say like about, browse, query.
About, yes. So then should I go
browse
to about?
Or browse.
No, I see. Yeah, browse. Okay, so the first thing I see is 83 performances with electroacoustic clothes. Okay. And then 91, the thing. This is interesting. I haven't looked at this. This is very interesting because, I mean, the way how I was tracing this is through Nanjupeg. So I guess at some point he will appear here, but Nanjupeg is older.
No, it's I think it's a bit different kind of idea here.
Because the way the thing is, like with Nanjupeg, as I said, it's kind of like it goes until what is called video art. When the film when it's a video art. But he was working, so yeah, it's not code based. It's more like hardware based. Like that's not even the intention, but he ended up working with electricity and signals basically. No. But it's not the focus of what they're doing.
And it's not really like network so much.
No. Yeah, you're completely right. Yeah, the idea, although like I think he was the first, because that's back then. I think he's the first one who's proposing the network as a concept. When he proposed this broadcast performance that I shared with you the last time, that he's the one who he was doing for I think 2 months or something like that, a broadcast TV show that it was connecting Paris, New York, and South Korea. And that was he was the first one who was doing this network thing through television waves.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's in a way it's a network, but at the same time, like broadcast is not network, so maybe that's why
No.
it's a little bit separate.
Yeah, because this is really related to, I guess, like to computing, like like already through computing.
Yeah, but computing and network is also should be separate because they had computers back then.
Yeah, but they were not using
They're
the
not
computers.
connected.
They were not using the computers for that. Like the way how he was using the network.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying Namjoon Pike, but it was sorry, I'm really distracted. No, it's okay. No, not just like limited to him, but there are like works around computers, but that doesn't connect to net art unless they specifically use a network.
Yeah. But I think it's very interesting. Like, I mean, we are talking here like implicit on things that I mean, just during this path that I was following, and I did a presentation the last year about this thing that end up in abstraction, and it's the way how I was following into in more interactive art and I guess dance and technology. That's the way how I was following the path through performances, through fluxus and these kind of things. More like, yeah, and then William Forsythe and these kind of things. But what I'm trying to say that is intrinsical there is that the idea of abstraction, it comes very much through that path, following together also with painters. That I don't know exactly how, but because I was the last year I was exposing that. I don't remember exactly, but this, like the idea of abstracting something to the minimal, the form that I think one of the maximum exponents of this is Rocco, the painter, when he started painting blocks in colors. I don't know if you remember this painter, Rocco, I think is his name. I think he's called one of the masters of abstractionism. Rocco paintings.
You mean Rothko?
Rothko.
I don't know how to pronounce Mark Rothko. Maybe it's a bit like more like bars.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they mentioned him as one of the like the extreme, like there is one painting of him that's very, very famous. It's just a square painting in black because he was painting with colors, and the extreme of that is just the square painting in black, because just that supposed to resume anything to the minimal abstraction of the form, or I don't know. I'm not an art historian. I'm not gonna start inventing things. But anyway, the idea is there about the abstraction. And somehow, then when you mix that, like let's say in net art, when you have like so many components, and then there is a lot of abstractions there, but in a different way that I cannot even. What I'm trying to say is that how is that the idea of abstraction, understanding abstractions to the minimal components of something become something that is overpopulated, say the screen with glitches, let's say, like in net art of what we do. Like I would mention these as abstract things. You see what I'm trying to say? Like I'm trying to see how to connect, if the abstraction of something is to paint everything in black because it's the minimal representation of an idea in one hand, how to connect that to the other extreme, where it's just full of glitches and things. They are just completely overwhelming or just saturating the canvas, which is completely the different spectrums. And still you can mention as valid both as an abstractions. That's what I'm trying to reconciliate, because I don't understand that. How does it work?
Yeah.
If somebody knows, please send us an email.
Yeah, but that kind of makes sense in terms of like, you know, information entropy and stuff. Like, in a way, with glitches, it becomes like saturated and kind of becomes like noise basically at the end. It's like there's no representation, even if it's full of
Even if
information.
it's what? Even if it's what?
It's like full of information, you cannot really see it because it's just like, if it becomes totally random, then there's no information basically. So maybe that's something that is related. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes somehow. Yeah, that's true, because it's true. I mean, I subscribe to this idea what you said, that if the net art, then what you have to say is just a cat that is multiplied 200 times, and then every time then just you're leaving the trace of a cat, say an example. So then the canvas is becoming more oversaturated by the representation of a cat. You know, it's not the abstraction of a cat, it's just a cat, it's an icon of something. But then because it's just oversaturated with cats, it just becomes something else where the cat is lost, right? The cat is not cat anymore, it's just a blurry thing that it just give. It's just similar then to our process, it just give agency to other things to become. The cat becomes something else, it's not the cat anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this idea of glitch is something that I always think about, because there is this pure sense of glitch that happens as unintended, non-intended phenomena.
Yeah.
But also there's, I think it's being overused in the popular culture, like
Yeah.
TV series, movies, or even like commercials, to, you know, just like glitch kind of effect as an effect to make it pretty.
Cool.
Especially, you know, this RGB shift thing, which
Yeah.
and pixel sorting. I just hate them because it's just like,
Yeah, these
whenever
are
I see it, it's
plugins,
like,
plugins that you can just put it in After Effects and then you have it.
yeah. So, but I also like, it's something really interesting, because then if that's the reference that I don't like in the popular culture, then what am I doing in Hydra, for example? I make similar effects. I mean, I don't try not to say it's effect, but it's, yeah, what is it?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, but I mean, but then you're mixing things between like this is a personal appreciation that you're sharing here with us, and then it's totally valid. But then what I will say it is that how I feel about it is that, because I can relate and I can say the same things with dance and with the state of the art of dance, you know, like, oh yeah, but postmodern dance is just like privileging a lot the individual, the representation, so you are just free, and then you are just becoming like a hippie who just go into the space and just to become, just to become therapeutic of, I don't know. Yet then I will do that also, right? I will do that. So why am I doing that in that space? So this is a personal appreciation of that. So I think a part of my problem with the space, in that case dance, is just then what am I doing with that space? So not trying to solve my problem in relation to why the rest of the world is trying to see the space in that way. So why the rest of the world is trying to see dance as a therapeutic space. So not trying to solve that problem, but there is more like, what am I doing with that space? Because if I'm trying to solve the problem of the world, I go nowhere. I mean, it's just a stupid career race against the world. But then instead of how can I actually do something with what I think with the space. So in our case, then with the practice, I think we don't stay too much in the problem of kind of this politics of the space basically, but then just we do and actually find the other person. In this case, like you are actually saying to me, yes, Jorge is good, you can do this in the canvas, and I'm agency you also, I'm encouraging you to do this in the canvas. And I think that's very important, this dialectic and this dialectic process in that respect.
Yeah, and I think it's also like important to think that it's not like we're trying to, we're not using After Effects, we're not using, Cinema 4D or anything to make it like really cool, which makes it easier for people to judge if it's good or not, or if they like it or not. But what we do, in a sense, like in a bigger, more like this bigger picture of the idea of glitch is something that we try to introduce something that is not we cannot judge. Kind of goes back to Martin, but what you see in the video is something that is, well, I'm not saying something new, but it's hard to find a reference that you can say that it's it's a good video or not, but it's just what it is. And maybe that's
I will say
important.
that what you see in the video is something real from that perspective. Like, like what you see in the video, I mean, in the case, but in the practice, then what somebody will see is very real. Because it's very real because it doesn't deal with representation, identities, and also on like all the problems that you might have with glitches, all the problems that I might have with dance and dancing. So we try not to represent this idea of this problem, this politics, yet they pass through all of them because I cannot stop being Jorge for the time that I'm doing the practice. So it is so real. So then the glitch is real in that sense, because it is me with all my problems, with all my questions, with all my background, but I'm not hijacking that space with my problems, yet they pass. They don't stay, but they pass. So that's what I'm saying, that then the glitch that you see is real, me and you in space.
I see. And I think it's important that it's not like we're trying to produce, let's say, a video, or we're not claiming that it's a dance piece, because then and also people will see it as a dance piece or it's a video. But what is it? I don't know.
I think it's a dance piece.
That's a huge statement you just made.
But this is very strange now, because this is kind of a sarcastic thing, but I mean, in a way I'm expecting then you will say like, I think this is a glitch, because this is just speaking me from my from the problem where we start talking about this. Then you mentioned like, I don't know, I have problems with glitch, and then you mentioned why this is coming from your problems, and then I say like, I don't know what is dance, this is dance, so therefore in a way I'm kind of saying like, you know what, this is dance. Yeah, because I don't know. Do you know why? Because I don't know better than that, actually. So then I'm being honest. Like, because I don't know what is it. So since I don't know what is it, but the closest in a way that I have information for is to say dance, then I will say then is dance. I will state, if I have to then use a blade and speak from the truth, I will say this is dance. Let the dance be.
I see. Yeah, why not?
But no, but the interesting here is like, do you subscribe to the idea that this is a glitch for you? Like that the practice is a glitch for you?
But
That's
glitch
the
is
question.
not. I mean, it's a bit like, it's not really spot on in a way, because glitch is not a genre of art, for example.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
But that, if the question is what we're doing is glitch or not, then maybe that's a valid question. And
If say it again, say again. If the question is
it what we do is glitch or not,
yeah,
then maybe I have to say yes.
wow, that's such a statement. This cannot be posted. This is but this is
That's
very
controversial.
interesting. This is very interesting, because this is the compromise, you know. This is when you have to deal with yourself in order to make somehow sense. I don't know. This is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end, like, it's just what matters is how people perceive it. Or maybe not. I don't know.
No, I was thinking that, but I think that's the cool thing, that I was sharing this with Diana, and then I thought that this idea of caring, no, they're saying like that I care so much for, like, in the practice, you know, like I care so much for the practice, and we have built such a caring place that I actually can give space to not care about you. And we talk about that, and we wrote about in the application. Actually, we didn't mention it. We tried,
But that was the
we didn't
idea, yeah.
articulate, we didn't articulate that. But this is a very interesting place, because it's just because the space is so safe already that actually just then we don't care, that we can give we can give agency to not caring and just go full on in our fears, desires, wishes, and so on. um, and it's just a contradiction in itself. It's just because we care so much that but that's through labor, that then we cannot, then we have to mention then here ecologies, in a way that I don't know if ecologies, but just labor, that because we have build the space. And then maybe this is maybe a question I want to finish then with this. Then from my understanding, it's just because we have built the space through labor and time, hours, and archive, is that we can give space to not care. So then the question will be, would it not be possible to just propose a space that is by itself caring, that people can just jump and not care for the other one?
But people in general, like
Yeah, people like say, yeah, this is just more in general, say that as this is a framework, but say that there is a framework that me or you or other person propose, and there is not yet the labor in it to build confidence, trust, and so on, um, will be possible that the space by gathering, just like say that's a gathering, say like a gathering will, because a community in a way, like the community, going back to this idea, the community could build the trust, right? And the elements to build trust within participants. But the gathering in the sense of just appearing cannot, because it doesn't have the resources. So then again, it's like, can a gathering offer the safety to not care between the participants?
I don't think so. They have to care.
You have to care. But I mean, but then it's impossible not to speak. If then we go to that place, then I will say it's possible, but then depending of who is there, then you speak about context. And then basically then you have to go through politics and identities. If you invite a group of people and somehow then more or less who is this kind of people. So in a way you have to start boxing the people to kind of like believe that they're not going to kill each other. Then the place can care for it, the gathering can care for itself. But no, forget what I'm saying, because then it's like there will be a curatorial process of selecting who is going to the gathering, and that's not the gathering.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe if the gathering is the gathering of the cursors, then maybe it's okay.
Because there is not intention, then in that case it works. Yeah, because in the gathering of the cursors, it doesn't matter what you do with the cursor, like it's okay. Yeah, I don't need to care. But if I want, that's a good example. But then we go, that's a good example. I think that's brilliant, because then we speak about functionality. It's not functional. The arrow is not functional in the gathering of arrows. Is therefore it's not gonna damage a function. Yeah, true. I think when we speak about, I think it's a good point. Like, it's only when we speak about functionality, which often in our system relate to value, time, and these kind of things, commodity, is when we can say like it's effective, not effective, it works, doesn't work. When something has no function, in that case, a web, for maybe for other people, then the example was trying to propose a space, which is partly coming from Olivia's performance, Olivia Jack's performance, where there was just, say it's a canvas, the canvas, and then the cursors who are joining the website kind of start doing things. I mean, not doing things, basically just move around. And then sometimes they will, just cursors around, to not go far with that. So in that sense, there is not too much functionality on the website. There was not really functional. And then if we go back to the idea of the caring and not caring, it will be possible. It will be possible to do what? It will be possible to share a not caring space to the arrows. Can you say what I'm trying to say, because I think you understood, because I think
Sorry, I
I'm
didn't
stuck.
listen.
Naoto don't care about what I'm saying.
That's the
You
thing.
don't care. You don't care about what I'm saying.
But you're saying like it's not functional. That's
I was
what you're
saying that we were saying about caring, that how would be the question will be, how would be possible to share a gathering space, which is just like how to share a gathering space where it's possible not
Not to care.
not to care.
Right. But and then I said if there are cursors, maybe it's okay. And then but cursors are not functional, so that's okay.
In the example of the website, in this website, and they're just coming inside and
Right. But maybe it's actually it's an interesting point. I mean, the important point, because that's also like what you expect from the gathering, right? If you just expect to, interact with other cursors, maybe it's okay and everyone doesn't have to care, but it works because you expect to interact with other cursors and everyone's doing whatever with the cursors, and then you will be satisfied.
yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but
No, but I mean, but then we go, this is going one step further, because then is defining already in advance what is the function of the gathering, which I think is not the place that we are talking about.
yeah, but then like what, because the reason why I think like when you speak about, if you care or not in the gathering, it comes down to the code of conduct, and it happens. I mean, that is there because there may be harassment that should not be there, and
Through the cursors.
yeah, harassment,
Okay.
harassing cursor.
Okay, let's imagine the abstraction of harassing another cursor.
um, but then like harassment, because it's also like I think it's also because people have different expectations in the gathering or in the event or whatever, and it doesn't somehow, there's like discrepancy between people that causes, well, if it's intentional then it's bad, but also sometimes it can be unintentional. But how you talk to other people could be harassment depending on the context. And
Yeah.
that's what I associate with, when you say about, what was it, caring.
But then it has to be in relation with, I think the problem is when we start from, but yeah, when the moment when they start becoming complicated is when things have a reason, a function, like when people start defining, like, because a gathering anyway at some point becomes something that it naturally, I think it should evolve from, I guess, nowhere, but it becomes something. So it, at some point, it has a function. The gathering, at some point, it becomes the rave party of, or a gathering of cursors of something. And then once the function is defined, then people will start coming with their things, basically, like expectations and questions. But wait, we are stuck with this. This is a very, I guess it seems that it's not so easy, I guess, to speak from, to going back from what we start, like to not care, in our experience, I will dare to say, then it's just possible to build through labor. In our case, like yeah, basically through work, then just we build the trust. So then the labor is there. And although the ecology, which is more in relation to the economy, is not there, so it's not directly there because we are not thinking on that from the beginning. Yeah, I think it's just, yeah, it's possible through labor. Like not caring is possible through labor and time, basically.
But isn't there care? Isn't that so? You're separating the care and the labor somehow.
How?
Because I thought like when you say building the trust is actually through caring.
Um, but in a way the caring is intrinsical. It's because I think in our case, because we don't have a, let's say, going back to the idea of function, like the practice didn't have a function. We didn't know what to do with the practice, right? So I guess at the beginning, we didn't have too much the idea of to care, I guess, about the other that much, more than mutual respect and stuff like that. But then we wanted to share working space.
But that's actually a good question. Was there that kind of care or not? I think there was, because I know that if I just do whatever I want to do, then it won't happen. It won't work.
No, because then I think it goes back to like basics human relationships. You know, like if you propose a space and then I appear, and then I just start cursing to you and say, like, yeah, go fuck yourself, or being super rude, I don't think you will have a state or the other way around, because it's just basic human interactions that uh, I guess we stay because for some reason we want to share space to glitch to do things around the computer.
To dance.
But we didn't have a function for it.
I see. I still don't know if that care thing, if I agree or not, but it is. I mean, it's interesting that there was no function in the practice. I mean, for sure, like when we started last, like let's say last July, when we really started this format, we didn't think about, we have to apply for this. We have to go to Node and do something. We didn't think about, these concrete ideas. And also, like, I think I was not trying not to think this as, I mean, we had this idea of, like broadcasting, like live streaming and show it. But besides that, I didn't think about like anything as an output to
Yeah.
apply for something, to show it somewhere. Even if it's like live stream, it's not like, we try to find a partner and find it, a way to do it like super big. That is true, yeah.
But then it has to, I mean, we both in a way, it seems to me like then there, of course, there are points that we don't completely agree, but that in a way it worked because there was not functional. When we proposed it was not functional. There was not a clear purpose in like, we are trying to succeed with what we do, that because we didn't know what we were doing. Yet, and then back against the trust, yet I guess somehow we should have inspired in the other one some sort of trust that actually made possible to keep on coming and meeting. Well, when we didn't even met in person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's an important point, because we didn't meet until October.
Which was, but like for those who don't know, like we didn't met with Naoto, and we were working for some months, I guess, until October.
So if it's like started from April, then like half a year almost.
And until we
crazy.
met, until there was a possibility, thanks to Jen and Note 20. Thank you very much, guys. It was very important for us because then basically we were working, and then all of a sudden we have to go and share a small space and then live together for a week. And that was it was, I think it is kind of moments where it might work or it might not work. And that's just due to human relationships, for some reason, if I don't know, say I don't like your smell, I don't like what you cook, I don't like your face or something, it might just, or the other way around, it might just cannot work.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, that besides that, like we managed to, work together for work or practice for like half a year without like only with meeting online, which is, it's not easy.
But the question is like, do you think that because for instance, if I think now, like now I have no doubt that there's a lot of room for keep on, I don't know, doing what we do, dancing and glitching. And but back then, at some point, I guess I thought, like I guess I was not thinking back then. It's just, I don't know. But it seems to me, just let me try to put this in a question. Do you think if we haven't met, then we will be still working? I mean, if we wouldn't have met in Frankfurt and Node, we will be here still working.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yes and no. It's a good question, but maybe I think so, because it's not that what happened at Node was great, but it's not that something changed. It's also like interesting that it, like when we met, it was not like we didn't feel anything like discontinuity from how we met online.
No, it was not. It was not strange,
Right. That was strange. That it was not strange.
True. Yeah.
So maybe it was okay, unless like we started to feel like, okay, we have to meet and we have to find like a residency and we have to like apply for like 100 grants, and then we exhaust ourselves. Maybe then we stop meeting. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was a joke. But yeah.
But I think that's the space that we are right now. Like, and that's going back to what I said some time ago. That is how to keep it. That's up to us. How to make sure that we keep it fun. For some reason, like today, like I was not feeling like doing the live streaming. Although for me, it's very important to feel that we do it once per week in this format, because it's coming soon and it's for my dissertation thesis. But then for some reason, then I thought it will not be fun. I mean, this is more fun. We have been speaking from the 11, and so it's a long time. Now it's gonna be 6 or almost. So it has been a long time, and this is fun. Yeah, but maybe we should close soon because this is getting less fun, maybe.
Yeah, and I will end up with like full of cursors on my wall. So yeah.
This was very interesting. Like I think we talked like a lot of very interesting. I thought it was very cool. Maybe you should start putting were you doing the seminar in person or was it through video conference? Online. Well, very interesting if you are in the room with them and then just you keep like a box with Q&O for best practices, and then they just put the comments of your Q&O, because this was very interesting, like the comments on the seminar. That was very, very interesting to go through together. That was very cool.
Yeah.
So I hope somehow like then we have some interaction in that sense with hopefully with Joanna, or with Mike type or my grandma. We'll see. The first one who is answering.
Yeah. First come, first serve.
First come, first serve. Yeah, we'll see. It will be cool. It was a nice exercise to do this.
Yeah. So I guess we just close the chat.
Yes.
There's no more backstage. We just finish and that's it, I guess. So yeah.
Thank you guys.
For watching.
Next time.
Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, whatever that means. And see you soon. Ciao.